Welcome to Story Pirates Roll Call, where we take stories written by kids and we discuss them the way we would in rehearsal when we are adapting those stories for the Story Pirates podcast. Peter.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Thank you. Welcome to you.
Oh, thank you. Peter, would you like to read today's story, our first story?
I would love to, Lee. Our first story today comes to us from a 5-year-old from Georgia named, get this, Peter. And Peter's story is called Mopsy and Teddy, the Superhero Dogs. One time, Mopsy and Teddy were at their secret hideout, and they had a computer. The computer said, "Alert, alert, alert." And then the two superheroes flew to their super vehicles and went to planet Badongi Face. Then the superhero dogs went throughout the whole universe, and they discovered something new. They discovered a wormhole. They went into the wormhole, and they ended up in an upside-down crazy world. Suddenly, people and dinosaurs came alive all around them. And suddenly, a dragon came.
Yeah.
But then everything transformed into bananas. Then Mopsy and Teddy defeated the dragon. Then they got in their flying ship and went back through the wormhole and landed safely at last. The end.
I love this story. So many great details in this story.
Yeah.
I feel like there is a lot of lore involved in this story that we aren't made aware of before it begins. Well, it just sort of drops us right into Mopsy and Teddy are in their secret hideout and they had a computer. Then there's this alert which takes them to planet Badungi Face, which I feel like in the story, planet Badungi Face has such little descriptive material
and yet,
about it.
By the time we leave, you feel like, oh, we've been to a place.
We really know that. Actually, they leave quite quickly.
Yeah.
They almost leave immediately and go throughout the whole universe.
You think planet Badungi Face is going to be the big set piece, and they're like, it's a pit stop on the way to the wormhole.
Right, which, is that what the alert was about? Was it about the whole universe, or did they accomplish whatever they needed to accomplish with the alert on planet Badungi Face, and then they decided just to check out the whole universe?
This is the thing I love about a story like this, is it just creates this image that Mopsy and Teddy, they've got so much to do.
Yeah.
They don't have time to explain to us what their whole deal is, because they got to get that dragon. Everyone's turning it into bananas.
Right. The other thing I love about this story is that Peter, the author, has answered definitively once and for all whether dragons are just myths that were created by people who discovered dinosaur bones. No, they are different creatures. Dinosaurs and dragons are different creatures.
Yes.
Peter has told us.
Yeah, I like that part. Suddenly, people and dinosaurs came alive all around them.
Yeah.
What a team. Who are these people? Are they with the dinosaurs, or is this a people-dinosaur battle that's going to happen?
No, they're cavemen who ride dinosaurs, I believe. This is how I interpreted it.
I really would love to own a dinosaur saddle.
Yeah. I ride dinosaurs bareback.
I'm sorry. What? And you didn't invite me?
I even go a little bit, sometimes I go side saddle.
What kind? I hope it's not a stegosaurus.
No, it's not.
No, you don't want to ride a stegosaurus.
No, you don't. You want a smooth scale.
That's right. You want a triceratops? You can grab onto the front.
Don't they have little things?
You're right. That's probably not. It's a T-Rex.
It's a T-Rex.
You gotta ride a T-Rex.
Or a brontosaurus.
Oh, yeah. Although you'll be so far from its head, you'd be like, left!
That's
left!
okay. That's okay. They're docile. They eat plants.
Yeah, well, can they hear me telling them what to do? The bridle for a brontosaurus is unwieldy.
Yeah, bridle, is that the thing? That's the harness?
The rein. The bridle, I guess, goes in the mouth.
Ooh, we don't want to do that to a brontosaurus.
Well, how you get the reins on there?
Here's what I think you do.
Okay.
You pat the brontosaurus on the shoulder. You're like, left,
Tap, tap, tap.
right.
The brontosaurus is going to be like, was that a mosquito?
I don't know. I think they're attuned to the touch of a loving human.
You know, brontosaurus isn't a real thing.
What?
Yeah, when we were kids, we grew up, brontosaurus was a thing. And then one day a scientist was like, oh, we put the wrong head on the thing. That species that we've been celebrating actually doesn't exist. It's Brachiosaurus.
Really? There's no brontosaurus at all?
I'm 60% sure.
Wow. We're going to have to fact check that. Producer Andrew, can you fact check that for us?
Is brontosaurus real? And I hope I'm wrong, because I love brontosauruses.
I do too. It's a good name.
Yeah.
It sounds like what it is. Bront. Brachiosaurus sounds like tiny little candies.
I'm sorry, what does bront sound like?
It's like this. Bront.
And not, bront is going through the desert, but brack is through a forest.
Agree to disagree. Peter, incredible story. Thank you so much for sending it in to us. All right, let's move on to our next one.
Yeah, Lee, will you want to read this next story?
Yep, by 7.5-year-old Grace in Massachusetts. Here is I Have the Hiccups. And this was written over the course of like 7 different pages, just so you know.
Okay.
Mom, I got the hiccups. Mom. Oh no, there's only one way to cure the hiccups. Eat 90 lampshades, touch 50 hot glue guns.
Oh no.
And what? Mom, turn into a vampire. What? No. Door opening. Ha ha ha! I am a vampire. Bite. Okay, so we're vampires. I think that's we're vampires, but it's spelled where. Okay, so we're vampires. Yay, my hiccups are gone. Hiccup. I forgot to eat 90 lampshades and touch 50 hot glue guns. 1 year later, finally finished. Yay, my hiccups are gone. The end.
No, that's not the story. That was just my hiccup. This story is incredible, Lee. There's a couple things that immediately jump out to me.
Yep.
One, can we just say you should never touch any hot glue guns?
Let alone 50.
That's right. In fact, don't touch the glue gun without parent supervision.
But the point is, I think that comes through in the story. There is nothing in this story that is advisable.
Yeah, you shouldn't do any of these things.
No.
You shouldn't eat one lampshade.
No. Is it eat them? Yeah. Don't eat one.
Let alone 90 lampshades.
And, with a vampire, you do have to invite them into your home.
Well, there's different lores, so which version is it?
I think across cultures, everybody knows that you have to invite vampires into your home.
Okay, so did they invite them?
No, they didn't. What they did is they leaned over the threshold and allowed the vampire to bite them in their doorway.
That's my second favorite.
Huge mistake.
My second favorite moment of this story is, I am a vampire. Bite. I like to imagine he's saying bite.
Well, I like it too because bite has a period and not an exclamation point. You'd expect someone to be like, bite, but they're just like, bite.
I'm a vampire. Bite.
And don't forget, it's one for the mom and one for the daughter.
Oh.
Bite.
I see.
Yeah.
But it says, you know what?
Because afterwards it says, okay, we're vampires.
It doesn't say, it goes, haha, I am a vampire. I realized the first time I thought it was the kid saying that.
No, that's the vampire.
That didn't make any sense.
Introducing themselves.
Yeah. I'm a vampire.
So this story really brings up an issue I think about a lot, which is curing hiccups. Because sometimes I will get hiccups and I truly cannot solve them. So I'm curious.
Yeah.
Do you have a method for
Yes.
curing hiccups?
I will boastfully claim I have not hiccuped more than 7 times in a row without being able to solve them. As long as I can sit down, lay down. Because what's happening is your diaphragm is spasming. This big muscle right here.
Okay.
So you got to relax it. So what I do is I lay down, I relax every muscle in my body, breathe slow, take a few deep breaths, and then very controlled, big breath in, and then comfortably hold because you're stretching this muscle as long as you can, and then slowly release it, and you gain control of that muscle again. Not funny, but true.
But see, I've heard this before, and people are like, you just have to control your breath. It's a muscle. But how do you do that if you're hiccuping? Because you say, first, just relax, not thinking about the fact that you're going to hiccup while you're trying to relax.
I said it is 90% mind game. It's like golf. You got to be in the right mindset. Calm down. Lay down if you can.
Are you a golf guy?
Secretly.
Bite.
Now you're a golf guy. Bite. Would you rather be bit by a vampire or golf?
I'm going to say golf.
That's good. Good.
Because you can play it forever.
That's right. And you'll never be satisfied.
I don't know where that came from.
Just like a vampire.
Oh, they're never satisfied?
Yeah, no, they got to keep drinking blood forever.
I don't know. I had to eat forever, but I wouldn't say I'm never satisfied.
I just listened to Hamilton recently.
Okay.
We never be satisfied.
All right. We have one more story here for today. Peter, would you do us the honors?
Yes. This last story was written by an 8-year-old from California named Grayson. And Grayson's story is called The Wonky Dragon.
Okay.
There once was a dragon that did everything wrong. One day, he read the toast and buttered his book.
Ugh.
He put his breakfast on his head and ate his hat. He bought food at his car, then drove the market. He said hi to his best friend, Banana. Then he decided to eat lunch, so he ate his best friend, Banana. After that, he was still hungry, so he ate his pets, Apple 1 and Apple 2. Then he brushed his bed and slept on his toothbrush. The end.
I love this story a lot.
Yes.
And I think my favorite, well, first of all, I love the game, just flipping those verbs. But my favorite one is drove the market. And how do you think that happens? How do you drive a market? Is this an economic sense or like literally going to the farmer's market and driving it?
Well, I think he's literally brought a steering wheel and stuck it into the farmer's market and is moving it all over town.
So all of the booths are connected?
Yes.
Already?
Like he plugged the steering wheel into the cement, into the pavement that all the farmer's market was sitting on, and it ripped out of the ground and had little wheels, and he drove it. And ironically, if you move the farmer's market across town, you're also driving the market.
That's true. You're driving the market for peaches, plums, apples.
Location is everything.
That's true.
Wow.
Yeah, the prices will go up in the area where the market used to be.
Yeah.
That's supply and demand.
It sure is. That's the market.
Definitely people are tuning into this podcast for that kind of economic analysis.
Exactly.
I also love, so the game is very clear,
Yes.
right? He does this and this. What is it? He eats his book and reads his toast.
He butters his book and he reads his toast.
Okay, so that's the game, very clearly established. And then about 2/3 of the way through, he throws us all for a loop by saying he says hi to his best friend Banana.
Yeah.
And then eats his best friend Banana.
Yeah. And then eats his pets, which is Apple 1 and Apple 2.
Which I'm not totally clear on how the game is heightening in that.
Because all his friends are, you'd expect that he would eat his friend and then go to the movies with his banana.
Right.
But I like a story that goes, oh, here's the pattern, this. You know how it works. Or do you?
Yeah. No, just obliterate the pattern.
That's right.
In the most hilarious way. Apple 1 and Apple 2. Also, fruit is always involved in these pattern breaks.
Explain.
The best friend is Banana.
Oh, yeah?
He eats his best friend Banana, and then his pets are Apple 1 and Apple 2.
Right.
He also just drove the market, which has bananas and apples.
Yeah. If you show up to the farmer's market and you put in a steering wheel and steal the market, essentially,
Yeah.
you're a villain. You're going to eat your friends, and you're going to steal fruits and vegetables.
You are, but the title of the story, I will remind you, is the Wonky Dragon.
You know what?
Wonky does not say evil to me.
It's true. Wonky just means the end of this story gets wonky.
I thought wonky is like someone who is very interested in very intellectual. Like you could be wonky about economics.
I thought that's wonk-ish.
Or being a wonk.
Yes. That to me is what you're talking about. To me, wonky, although maybe I've been wrong, wonky to me is like haphazard and awkward.
Okay.
Which feels more correct for this dragon.
Yeah.
Than being wonk-ish. Although he drives the market, so he might know a lot about things.
regardless, this is an incredible story.
Yeah. Wow.
Grayson, incredible story. Thank you so much for sending it in. And before we go, we just need to check in with producer Andrew about Brontosaurus. What is the verdict?
Brontosaurus and Apatosaurus were discovered at the same time. Then a scientist said they're too similar, and so Brontosaurus is actually Apatosaurus. And then in 2015, they said, actually, these skeletons are different enough that they are two different dinosaurs, but people are still arguing over whether they're the same dinosaur or not.
And there's no Brachiosaurus involved?
No Brachiosaurus. It's Apatosaurus and Brontosaurus that they're arguing over.
Okay, that's why I said 60% sure. I knew it wasn't all right.
But also, make up your minds, paleontologists.
Yeah.
Like, you can't just change every 10 years what you think is similar and different.
When I was a kid, I got a bunch of dinosaurs for Christmas. They are my favorite. And I put them all out in the little woods behind my house to pretend to stumble upon them. And I never found the Brontosaurus after that day.
So that's what's behind this.
Yeah.
You're trying to erase the Brontosaurus.
And then I found out it didn't exist at all. And I was like, did I ever have that toy?
Wow. And on that note, that's it for today's roll call. To read all of today's roll call stories, just head to storypirates.com.